Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to LWP podcast. So, as you're all aware, tonight I am joined in the studio by James Bentley. I don't particularly think he needs much more of an introduction than that. Let's get him in the studio and get to know James better, shall we?
Yo,
Good evening, James.
hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad.
Are you melting?
Yeah, it's a bit warm.
Do you know that is the one thing about us Brits? We're never happy. We moan when it's really cold and we moan when it's really hot.
Yeah, but we're British otherwise,
Oh,
wouldn't you?
well, this is a true story. So, James, let's dig into James Bentley, the wrestler. So,
Okay.
where did the love of wrestling come from?
As in, when did I start watching it, or when did I start?
No, let's go to the very beginning. So, when did you first start watching it? How old was you when you first started showing
Um,
an interest?
Jesus, I'd say about 8, 9, maybe 8, 9 years old. I used to watch it with my cousin a lot. We still do sometimes, but as you get a bit older, you don't really watch it as much. You just more like study how they move and stuff. But yeah, we used to watch WWE because obviously when I was younger, it wasn't WWF, it was WWE still.
WWE,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, I've pretty much just watched. I was about 8, 9, maybe
So,
10.
at the age
Maybe,
of 8,
yeah,
you was watching wrestling and you sat there and went, that's what I want to do.
I've always wanted to wrestle. Yeah, um, I mean things have gone in different paths for me, but I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler. I mean, I've always wanted to do it. I know I've always wanted to do it. It's just being in the right space to do it, if that makes sense.
Completely. So you literally just said, that's what I want to do. I want to be a wrestler. I'm going to go do it. And then you literally have.
Yeah, yeah. So
But what was it about wrestling that drew you in to begin with?
I think it's the strength and like the mental aspect of it. When I used to watch it when I was a kid, basically you watch it and men are getting beat up and women, and that's you're looking at you like, oh, that's cool. Like you're watching wrestling. It's dangerous. People get hurt, and when you're a kid, you've got no fear. So you start getting used to it, and you start doing it when you're younger. And when you're older, you realise it's not as easy as you thought, but the right way to go about it is anything's easy, isn't it?
So it was literally about the full on fighting for you. It wasn't anything to do with the entrances, the personas that people put out there.
It was just the physicality of it. I think the way they move, the quickness, the the way they put on a show. For me, I've always been
So
quite a show. So
the quickness, I mean, is that something that's transferred over from your rugby days? Because you used to be a rugby player, didn't you?
yeah, I mean, I did a lot of things when I was growing up. I did rugby more recent, more of a sport from when I did wrestling. Well, when I do wrestling, obviously. But yeah, I've played rugby for so many years. That's just That's just physicality all the way, and then the energy, the pace, and all that sort of stuff. That just is all in the game anyway. So
Does the cardio aspect help for the wrestling?
transferring it from rugby, yeah,
Mm.
it does because when you're training to be a rugby player, you don't realise as soon as you get hit, all of your cardiovascular it goes like you got no energy. When and it transfers into wrestling, you get hit, you hit the floor. You're not supposed to hit the floor on your back. You're not supposed to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like you've hit the ground and all your energy's gone, and you've got to then try and come back in a way.
Rather you than me. Honestly, I won't be able to do it. So, how
Yeah.
did you discover LWP? Because, as far as I'm aware, LWP is the only place you've trained with. Is that right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So I was in the gym. I'm a wrestler who I don't get on with now in the wrestling business. just because he pretty much stabbed me in the back when I was in the Streets of Rage in tag team. But that's the end of that anyway. But we used to train together a lot, and we was good mates at one point. And he was doing the wrestling, he was training and stuff, and then he told me about it, and then I pretty much said to my bosses who I was working for at the time, "This is what I want to do. Can you accommodate this? Because if not, I'll go somewhere else that will." Because I knew deep down that's what I wanted to do.
See, that's a big commitment. So you found the training school and then you literally said, can you accommodate my wrestling? Because if not, I'm going to find another job.
Yeah.
That's a massive commitment, that, James.
It is. It's difficult because people don't realise you got to have a life and you got to do what you want to do. And nobody's worth getting messed around. If you want to do something, go for it. If you're in the mud for a year with work, money, etc., then just stick with it, because it will only get better. Because your reality of it is, if you want to do something, you need to do it, because you'll beat you up for the rest of your life. And that's the way I looked at it.
I do agree with that, to be fair. So you then went into your training.
Yeah.
How do you find your training?
Now, from when I first started.
No, when you first started, not now.
It's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, I might have some strength and I might be able to get about a bit, but being able to get out of places and do moves correctly, and obviously to be dangerous to an opponent, it takes some skill, and it takes a lot of mental aspect in it as well. It's just difficult. I mean, not everyone can do it, and people say they can do it, and people come in, get hit once, and they're gone. And it's just like that in any physical sport. As soon as you get hit once, you get hit in the face, you think, hang on a minute, no, I'm not doing that. And then they realise it's not for everyone.
It's not easy though, is it? I've whooped your backside in training.
Yeah.
He did let me, everybody. He did let me. So when you're doing the training, how do you see your progression from when you first started to a year in?
I mean, I won't give myself much praise, because I'm not like that. But the only thing I could probably say is I'm able to perform in the ring. And you don't get given the opportunity if you shit. Sorry for my language.
Right, we've got a warning about explicit language.
You don't get an opportunity in the squared circle if you're not good enough. And that's the reality of it. And that's the way I look at it. I won't be put in these situations. I won't be getting put in a match if I wasn't trusted enough to perform. Because at the end of the day.
Very true. So am I right in thinking you had been training for somewhere between 9 months to a year before you was in your first professional show?
I think it was about 5 months.
Was it only 5 months?
It was about all in all, because when LWP had the first academy, it was once every fortnight.
Yeah.
And then they moved, and then I couldn't make it a lot because work commitments, and then I struggled to get down there. I still struggle now. But I would say all in all, I'd be generous, 6 months to get into my first match. Which
I would say, not that I'm a professional by any stretch of the imagination, but I would say to go from your very first ever training session to performing in 6 months, I would say that's pretty good going, wouldn't you, really?
If it was somebody else, I would say that, yeah.
Right, okay, so let's say it was somebody else and not you. You would be, you'd be like, well done, mate, you've done amazing, right? So that's what everybody says to you. And I know you are quite humble, you don't particularly like to hear it a lot, but you have done so well to go from your very first ever training session to being out in that ring and performing. And we'll move on to your accomplishments later. We have got Craig Stevens actually in the chat, and he thinks that you might have been referring to him earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely him.
So let's move on to that bit. So, well, actually, no, I'm jumping the gun a little bit with that one first. So, within 6 months, you was on your first show. Do you remember your first match?
Oh God, yeah, of course I do. I do, and I do, and I'm quite happy with the feedback I got from it. I got a little bit of nice compliments from some veterans, the pit bulls, and CW, which was nice. It was over a different promotion. It wasn't even LWP's promotion, which I thought that was quite special in a way. Yeah, I got some compliments. Just saying that I didn't think you'd be any good in a way. Yeah, but
I thought you'd be pants, but you're actually all right.
yeah, you never know, do you? I mean, if you've seen somebody for the first time, or anyone that comes to any show comes and sees anybody, they don't know who they are, what they can do, are they any good? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if someone
it's
in
true.
you're impressed, then you're a winner, isn't it?
True story, without a doubt. So, your first match,
Yeah.
what I want to know is, and I want details here, James, details. How did you feel walking out to that ring for the very first time?
Well, we kind of messed up a bit, to be fair, because we didn't even have any music. That's how amateur we was. We didn't even have any music, and we realised we've not even said we've got any music. But luckily, DJ did some random tune. But I get nervous when I am behind the curtain, not when I'm getting changed, not when I'm talking or to anybody, not anything like that. I don't get nervous, but as soon as I'm standing behind the curtain and I'm ready to go out, I start getting a bit shaky, and I'm a bit like, "Oh God, here we go, it's time." And then as soon as the music hits, now as soon as I step through the curtain, I'm absolutely fine, because you
I know.
realise, yeah, you realise that if you mess up or thingy, then just get on with it, because end of the day, people are talking about you. You know what I mean? Like any publicity is good publicity, eh? So
True story. Yeah, can't argue with that either, to be fair. So, how did you choose your entrance music? You've just openly admitted that you did a massive boo-boo. You didn't even think about it on your first ever match. So, where did your music then come in?
the music kind of folded around. Was the creative team at LWP was kind of going through some ideas that would suit me, because it's all right having an entrance music or gear, but if you don't suit the gear or if you don't match the entrance music, it just don't make any sense. So we're scratching around, and then Rammstein, which I love anyway. I love Rammstein, and I'm a bit of a weirdo anyway, if that makes sense, a gothic sort of sense. I had the black, I had the vest with the lace, I had the metal chains, I got the big boots. It just goes. It makes
It
sense.
does suit you. Mike Waters is saying, is it the can? Hi, Mike, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely not the can.
No, well, I mean, to be fair, that would make me chuckle. I think at one point you are going to have to come out
Yeah,
to the can because it would make everybody laugh.
I'll do it. I'll do it on a camp show. Just
Okay.
do it on the show.
So choosing your music was easy. Your outfit wasn't particularly difficult to choose. You literally just went with what suits you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see me in something that looks ridiculous. The way I see it, if you look good, you feel good. You know what I mean?
Well,
You know what I mean? It's one of them. Like, I've got my music, I've got my gear. I'm always trying to improve on my gear, because you always can. But as every wrestler knows, wrestling gear is expensive.
I was just going to say that. Do you go through a lot of wrestling gear? Do you have to replace it?
Not necessarily. It depends if you want to change up, because
I was thinking more if it gets damaged.
I've been quite lucky. I've not really damaged anything. My boots are really new, so I've got years out of them. But you can always replace your soles and get them nice and shined up again, can't you? So
Well,
at the end of the day,
I wouldn't know.
it's what you could say about everything. You know what I mean? Walk down the street, shoes will go. So got to replace them anyway. So you might as well do it.
Yeah, but when it's expensive, like your wrestling kit, that's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very expensive, but you need to get it. And if any juniors out there or anyone that's inspiring to watch wrestling or get into it, invest in yourself and invest in your gear, because if you don't, and you could be the best wrestler on the planet, you could be the top man, but if you don't invest in yourself, then nobody's going to invest in you.
That is true. You're not really giving me anything to argue with you about tonight, James.
Yeah.
So you started off your solo career, and then you ended up doing a tag team, dare I say, with the lovely Craig.
Yeah, I had one singles match with the whole time I was in the Streets of Rage. Look, yeah, there's bad blood in there with us two, but end of the day, if I didn't go in there, I didn't perform in that tag team, then you never know, I might not be here.
I think
got the
Streets
experience.
of Rage, from my point of view, from a spectator's point of view, Streets of Rage, actually, I think that helped progress you, because
Yeah.
Craig as a person is different as Craig the wrestler, right?
Mm.
Well, to me
Yeah.
he is. To me he is. Maybe not to you, but to me he is. But when you two was tag teaming, he pulled a lot of dirty tricks. A
That's what I
lot
did.
of dirty tricks. But I think that actually helped for you, because literally, and let's not forget, I've been there. I've been to most, I think I've probably missed 2 shows out of all of them. The crowds would be going absolutely crazy about Craig, and
Yeah.
then that they was instantly like 100% behind you then.
I suppose it helped me get pushed. It pushed me a bit more as a baby face.
Is that an actual term, is it? Babyface?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, baby face, yeah.
Okay.
Good guy, in a sense.
Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see good guy, bad guy. That's
Yeah, heel.
how I would. Like, so yeah, I think that actually helped you. I think that made such a difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, the crowds go absolutely crazy when you come out anyway. I don't think I've been to one show yet where you've come out and the crowds are just like, it's James Bentley, the wrestler, everyone. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen that. Literally, the crowds love you.
Well, I'll try.
You're hating this, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I love it. I love the fact that people go out of their way to come and see me and stuff. And it's a nice feeling, you know? Like, you can't explain it.
How does it feel when people are walking out wearing your t-shirts that they've purchased from that show?
Oh, have you ever brought someone's t-shirt, like, because you've been so, like, not like a wrestler, but like, I don't know, band merch, or
Yeah.
it's that you've got the shirt, and if that band saw you with the shirt on, they'd think, oh, that's cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool, like seeing especially the younger kids with it on, because it is such an overwhelming like experience.
The kids again absolutely adore you.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, I love it. Who doesn't? Who, honestly, honestly,
It is nice. It's so nice to see, to be fair. Yeah, I think it's dead sweet. I think it's really nice, and I think it makes such a difference. So would you ever, I mean, obviously you never know what's going to happen. Relationships with wrestlers, as you've said, you and McIntosh are no longer super close like you used to be.
yeah.
Do you think you would ever go the opposite way? And do you think you would become the bad guy?
I think it depends who pushes you, doesn't it? I think people are good, but I think they get pushed so much they have enough. Like they're not getting the cheers they want, and then they're feeding off that bad energy, and essentially that's what brings it all together. But they're feeding off that really, really hostile environment, and that's what's feeding them more, and they just want to get that more. It's just the same as being cheered, but the opposite. They are like loving it. They love it, but I think there's always a good in someone. Well, not everyone, but up
Because
to
it
a point.
really.
Yeah, there's some awful people out
That's a whole other show.
there. Yeah, crime watch.
So this begs the question then. Now you've gone your own way and you're solo.
Yeah,
Would you ever reconsider doing a tag match again?
the price
Or
is there.
becoming tag partners?
Tag partners for
Yeah,
Macintosh.
would not
Oh,
not necessarily with Craig, but with anybody, would you consider doing that again?
not as a tag team,
So not as a partnership.
but as a one-off or a few. I'd be more than happy with that. If someone needs help or somebody needs just somebody until the other partner's back, I'd do it. But it's not something I want to do. I want to be solo. Um, but I envy the guy in tag matches.
Well, you've literally. Oh
Oh,
dear, we've lost James. There we go, he's back. So you've literally got an offer in the chat already.
go on.
Can you not see the chat?
I can't see the chat. I think it's because yours connected to Facebook. Oh, I see. Yeah.
So on the chat, Bentley and Big Joe versus UKP.
Yes, I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to speak to Mr. Brees.
That would be awesome. I'd do that. Big Joe's a hell of a competitor. I wrestled him at Annihilation. He got the better of me, but UK Pitbulls, for that matter, me and McIntosh went against them at Wrestle War, and I've got utmost respect for them too. That even though they're mean and aggressive and that, to get where they are, from where they've come from and how long they've been in it and the longevity, you can't argue with how successful they are, and they're like the Hall of Fame
Definitely not.
tag world, because they are. It's UK Pitbulls. Who doesn't love the UK
Well,
Pitbull?
Mike's a little bit bored right now. He's on the train on the way home and he's a little bit bored, so he's just hounding you.
I don't mind. That is a good lad.
So you would do tag team as an occasion. You would never do it again as a full-blown partnership.
You never know though, do you? Until it happens. It's one of them, isn't it? That's the problem.
I was going to say, how can you completely rule it out? Because you just never know what the future brings, do you?
Exactly.
So it would be really, really wrong to rule it out completely. But I can see where you're going with it. You did it McIntosh was a bit naughty and it didn't end well.
No, but I kind of contradicted myself there, haven't I? 5 minutes ago I said no, and then there's an offer on the table with Big Joe, and I've changed my mind. So
But well, in all fairness, as you said, you would do it as an occasional. You wouldn't do it as a long term. So let's move on then slightly. So you've gone solo. Your solo career is doing phenomenal right now. We're looking at the names that you've wrestled. So you have already wrestled against the UK Pitbulls. Yes, that was a part of a tag match. But let's move on.
What was that? Sorry?
Then from them. Have you lost me?
No, you said I didn't hear the bit where you said about the tag or whatever it was.
I don't even know what I said now. That was 2 minutes ago, James. I've had it. So you've wrestled the likes of UK Pitbulls in your tag match, but going solo, you have wrestled some big names already. I mean, let's look at this realistically. You've already wrestled Big Effing Joe.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to roll them off?
You've had a title shot with CW Davies.
Yeah, I'm still bummed out about that.
I mean, let's touch on that one because I actually thought you had it in the bag there. There was a few times I was like, oh, it's done it.
Yeah. I think I'm missing something, I'm missing something in my game that I switched. I've watched the match a million times before, and I've switched off, and the ref turned. I've been hit underneath, and I just finished.
It was a little bit of a dirty shot, though, wasn't it?
It was, but he's the LWP champion. You can't argue because he's still the champion.
2-time champion.
Yeah, 2-time champion.
I mean, he's obviously doing something right. Do you think you'll get that shot again?
I'll get that shot again because I'm going to work towards it.
I mean, I remember being backstage just before you went out on that specific match. And I could totally appreciate what you're saying when you were saying earlier about how nervous you get just before you go out, because I'm really annoying in the middle of a show and just before or you go out or just after you've come back in, I grab you for an interview and you're all like, Gemma, just go away. So yeah, you tend to pace a little bit before you go out. And CW Davies hadn't gone out. I knew that there was about to announce you into the ring. So I came backstage and I was like, right, quick word, how are you feeling? What's going on?
Yeah.
And Aaron interrupted that chat.
Yeah.
And gave you a bit of a kick up the backside, I think is the words for it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he probably was doing it under the attention to stop dreaming, if that makes sense. Because I was being polite, I was being too respectful, and then he's right what he's saying. What he was saying, sorry, Aaron Sharp, with the fact that he's CW Davies and he's a dirty dog and all this sort of shit. He's right. But in my game, I respect everyone until they don't deserve my respect. Now CW doesn't deserve my respect in the wrestling sort of things because of what he did at the end of our match. And people earn my respect just by even lacing the boots up, because I respect any wrestler that puts the boots on and goes out there and puts the body on the line. And that's why I've always respected everyone. But you lose my respect for people when you don't need it, and then people are different and they change. But Aaron, it got in my head a bit, to be honest with you, because he really did go into me, didn't he? Like, he did.
I was a little bit scared.
He wasn't wrong, no.
He wasn't.
No, he wasn't wrong.
I think sometimes I think sometimes you just need to be told, not you personally, I suppose all of us just need to be told, as it is, black and white.
The problem
You
is,
are.
I was coasting. I was winning. I had a few losses. I've had a few losses recently against the bigger guys and the more experienced guys, but I don't count them as losses on my resume because I'm getting experience from them and I'm learning how they are, how they're moving, and then I'm slowly getting better. I'm 25 years old. Give it a year, give it 2 years, then I don't think there'll be anything that I won't know in terms of what's going on, what to look out for, all that sort of stuff. So I'll be ready. Like it's coming with me. It's definitely coming, but I'm definitely missing something, and I'll get
Is
to
it
it.
just experience?
It could be. It could be the lack of maybe discipline, like you said, but it could be a lack of experience. That's sometimes where I lose my focus because I'm bummed up about something in the match. I should just crack on and not keep my eye off the ball. And that's where the guys that have been doing it for so many years have been so successful because they're smart.
Do you watch all of your matches back? I know you said you watched your CW Davis, the title
I've watched
match.
all the ones that I managed to record. I watch back at loads of times.
So when you're watching that back, do you watch it as a spectator or are you watching that to overanalyze what you did in the ring?
Yeah, the second one. I'm analysing every mistake I made, every slight step that I could have done that could have generated more power into a manoeuvre. My pacing, how I'm breathing in the ring, because that's a big factor. Cardio, what I need to work on, and just be stronger. Really, but I do analyse and I do watch the other competitor who I'm up against. I watch them, see how they move, see how they think, see how their eyes are, if that makes sense, because they have some sort of tell when they're hurt and they're really hurt and they're building something up. So it's all about proper analysing your opponent and analysing yourself, and that's how you get better.
So your matches are usually announced before the day. Like you never really walk into a ring not knowing who you're going to wrestle.
Yeah,
So do you watch them before the match?
yeah, yeah. I study them first
And then
because
do you strategically plan what moves you're going to pull out, what move sets you're going to pull out the bag?
no, I don't plan what I'm going to do. I plan if they. So I watch wrestlers, and a lot of them have a same routine. If that makes sense, they'll do something, and don't get me wrong, the person that they're up against can't react to it because they're really hurt. But having said that, if I'm in a situation where I think I know they're going to do that maneuver, I can get out of the way from it and then prevent myself from getting hurt and then hurt them essentially. Yeah.
Very clever, that, James. Very clever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about in here. I've always been very switched on with the whole thing. Because you have to. You can't go into stuff and then not know. You got to have a little bit of an idea.
Well, it's paid off for you up to now, really, hasn't it? With how well your career's going.
Yeah, I would say so.
So what's your aims then, James?
What's my aims?
Yeah, what's your aims? Where do you want to get to?
I want to be the LWP World Heavyweight Champion. And that's what I'm going to do in time.
Just the heavyweight, is that the only belt that you want to go after? Do you not want to work your way up?
I think this is probably one of the best belts in Europe.
It is a very nice belt.
Not just nice, it's very prestigious.
Oh, very.
Very.
So that is your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to be LWP's world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, of course. And wrestle the best wrestlers in the world. Who doesn't want to do that?
Who would you class as the best wrestlers in the world?
God, you're asking the question now. So mine are quite controversial. Are you on about past or present?
No, we'll go with present.
Present, it's got to be Seth Rollins, hasn't it? He's just brilliant.
Why? What is it about Seth?
As a showman, I don't think there's anyone better than him. Seth freaking Rollins.
And then what about past?
Bret Hart.
Who was your... I was just going to say who was your inspiration, but you straight in there.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't watch him as a child because he didn't wrestle when I was a kid. But looking back on YouTube and etc., I kind of realised how good he was. And I just watched so many of his matches. And I still do it to this day. I can't watch a wrestling match as a fan. I watch it as someone who's nicking stuff, nicking technique.
You're not nicking anything, are you?
No, you're not nicking it, but you're
going to give it a go, though, right?
Yeah.
What's your favourite? What's your favourite finishing move?
I don't know. Some of that hurts. Some of that really hurts. Don't get back up. Someone's never kicked out of before.
So, James, let's get on to the real question now.
Okay.
Out of the LWP roster, who do you really want to wrestle?
Oh, I like to. Well, it's obviously CW, just because he's the champion. And I think you got to aim high, haven't you? Why do you not? You don't go into this thinking you're not gonna want to go to the top because you're in the wrong business. But you got to wait your turn. There's moments in it.
So, if you had to build a ladder, of the wrestlers that you want to wrestle till you work up to, I know you've already wrestled CW Davis, but until you work up to that next title shot, who would those wrestlers be?
I think it's obvious. I think I need to beat Brett Semtex. Because
to be fair, though, let's touch on Brett Semtex. You've already wrestled him.
Yeah.
And that was a phenomenal match.
It was definitely hard hitting. He's a fantastic competitor.
So you want another shot at Semtex?
Yeah, of course. Nobody won. Drawing's not winning.
But it's not losing either.
It is. You don't win a prize for drawing. As is the gold medal.
So Semtex is on your list?
Brett Semtex. Brad O'Brien, I'd really like to wrestle. I know he's suffering an injury at the minute, but I'd like to wrestle him.
I can see why.
But I would also... There's two more. Two more. I will get to it. Maybe three. I could probably go on a day, but... So I need to beat Big Joe. I think I've got some unfinished business with that one, just because he beat me. And if I can't beat him, then how am I going to beat the World Heavyweight Champion? Arcadius. I think Arcadius would be a beast to go up against. I wrestled him my second ever match. King of the Castle 2021, I believe it was. First one for LWP. I think I wrestled at. That was my first one for LWP.
Wasn't that one
2-on-1?
McIntosh versus Arcadius.
Yeah. I was the first person to kick out of his finisher. Which probably should have said. But yeah.
I'm sure he'll come after you for that, don't you worry.
I would like to go up against Arcadian. Yeah, the Arcadian. And then Aaron Sharp, I'd like to go up against him as a professional, as a human being, because he's a good lad.
Do you not think that That would be a difficult one.
with Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it
Not
would be.
obviously, I'm not saying that difficult as in you wouldn't be able to beat him. I mean, because of the friendship.
Yeah, we've got a good bond, me and Aaron Sharp. We hang out, obviously backstage when we've got matches. Me and him have a wine together. Obviously, he's trained me. So yeah,
Trainer versus trainee.
it would be emotional, definitely, to go up against Sharp. But I reckon it'd be a good one.
Oh, yeah. And then who else is on your list?
That's probably it, I think.
And then straight into CW.
Yeah, CW. Yeah, CW is a
Or
big.
whoever is the title holder at that time, I suppose.
I would want it to be CW just because he beat me. And I'm a bit like that. I like to beat him eventually. Do you know what I mean?
And okay, so that's your list. That is your ladder of your dream matches on the LWP roster.
Yeah. But I would also like to go up against Pitbulls again.
Well, we're speaking to Mr. Brace about that. Don't think you're getting away with that one.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite cool.
It's out there now. We've already put it out there, James. So I'm missing off the point where Mike's actually said in a death match. Well, missing off that
Oh,
one.
is that what he said? Oh.
Yeah, but we're just going to skim over that bit. So he's already put it out there.
In a cheesecake.
So that will now go to Mr. Brace, won't it? And you never know what might come of it. But I think it'd be really rude. Sorry, I know I'm dead conscious of the time because I know that James has actually given up his evening. Are you sure?
Yeah, carry on. Go on, fine.
Right. Well, I think we need to touch on Germany.
Oh, wow. Thought you never ask.
Well, you save the best, don't you?
Yeah.
Let's touch on Germany.
First, before I want to go into it, I just want to say, even though me and McIntosh have had our differences, I am quite happy for him to go over there, especially with Hound Dog, who I've wrestled recently, which I think will be, after a lot more training and a few years, it'll be quite a good competitor. But I'm happy for them to go over there with obviously Aaron on that academy show. So I'm really happy for them to.
It's the end of the month, isn't it?
I'm happy because as a wrestler, I'm jealous, but I'm also happy because, like, it's a nice thing when people get opportunities. But yeah, Germany
So first off, when that was presented to you, how did you feel?
I thought I was dreaming, to be honest. It was quite a wholesome experience, and the fact that I'd been wrestling for so little time going international, I think was quite impressive. And I got nothing but people say that, and it was quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good feedback from Germany, and you had good feedback while you was there. So it was, I guess it was quite emotional to actually get that offer. And then obviously you flew over.
Yeah.
Got to Germany. Was there any nerves when you hit Germany?
No.
Backstage before going out the curtain.
That's the one. Yeah, honestly, kind of just brush it off. I don't think about it. I just think about what I'm hopefully gonna do.
So that match in Germany, you lost that match, right?
Yeah.
She says. I was doubting myself then. I was like, did he?
Yeah, I was with a guy who I'd never seen or never even knew could fight, for that matter. Turns out he couldn't fight. But he could just chop. But I won't be wrestling with him again. Hopefully.
So don't rule it out. So you went there, you lost that match.
Yeah.
But the whole experience, what did you gain from that? What was your take home from it?
Going to a different promotion, going overseas, wrestling abroad, and it's your first one, and I think I remember when it got announced, the Bulk from UK Pitbulls commented on it saying, hope you enjoy it. The first one's always the best one, or something along them lines. And I thought that was quite sweet. And he's not wrong. It was
Mike, you little cutie.
It was fantastic. It was amazing. Like we had nice food, good company. Everyone was lovely. Dave Davis, Demolition Davis, was very wholesome and very welcome. He was fantastic. They just made you feel like you're a star. Especially their younger lads, like the juniors and stuff. They all come shake your hand and be very polite and introduce themselves, how you're getting on, and see if you want a drink. They're amazing.
Oh, that is dead cute.
Yeah.
So you've been invited to other promotions. I've seen the posters out this week.
Yeah.
BTW, is it?
Yeah, Big Top Wrestling, I believe it's called.
So you've got that coming up.
Yep.
Obviously got a busy summer with LWP.
Yep.
Is there any plans? Is there anything that you're going to throw into the mix that we don't know of as yet?
Ooh, I don't think I'm allowed to say.
Have you got big plans for the summer, James?
Of course. I'm always about big plans. We'll see, eh? We'll see.
We'll see what happens on that one.
Happens,
Look, yeah. Fantasy Island, okay, because we've done 2 shows there. I'm saying we, I don't actually do any shows, obviously, but there's been 2 LWP shows there so far.
Is that all it's been? So I would have loads.
I think so. Look, now you've got me doubting myself again.
I think it is 2.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
How are you finding the location changes?
It's nothing to me.
Does it really not bother you?
Since you're in the ring's the same. The ring doesn't turn upside down, not in a rude way. The fans are different.
If it did.
The fans are different, get different crowds in and stuff like that, but in the ring, you're still in there to fight. It's not different, but don't get me wrong, the travel's easier. But
you're really not fazed by it at all, are you?
No, I'm quite laid back, really.
Phenomenal, James, phenomenal. Right, on that note, James, we've been chatting away for 50 minutes now.
Well, I'm boring.
No, but you're not at home, are you, James?
No.
I was trying to be diplomatic. James is actually away for the evening, and he's obviously given up his time to speak to me, so I am conscious that I don't want to take up too much time. So, James, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Anytime.
And I will speak to you very soon. For everybody else that has joined us tonight, there will be another show next week. You'll have to wait and find out who it is. And I'll see you all next week. Say goodbye, James.